Welcome to the Hospitality Maverick podcast with me, Michael Tingsar. We at Hospitality Mavericks are here to inspire leaders to create heart-centered and profitable businesses from the inside out, the kind that both employees and customers love and support. Thanks to BizSimply for sponsoring this episode as our show partner. And BizSimply is the all-in-one HR, workforce management, rota and operations software designed and built by hospitality experts to make every shift run like clockwork. And we join forces to help the industry to find new ways to become even more innovative in how we lead our people, how we operate, to how we grow our businesses, to how we serve our customers. Together we want to share strategies and tools that can make the industry thrive long term, not just survive.
I think a lot of people don't truly understand what it means to lead a business, to start businesses, to put everybody else ahead of yourself, literally. If the employees don't get paid, I don't get paid. If the suppliers don't get paid, you don't get paid. So putting the time and the effort and energy is most important, and a lot of people don't necessarily understand that,
This is James Geier, founder and president of 555 International, an interior design and specialty manufacturing firm helping leading-edge operators create memorable experiences, and they work with great brands like Lululemon, Hard Rock Cafe Hotels, and many others. But it doesn't stop there. James is a hospitality entrepreneur by heart, operating great venues in Chicago like Morgan's and Fulton, Marvin's Food and Fuel, and other ventures. According to James, hospitality is in the root of every successful business aspect. This philosophy has now been the foundation for a groundbreaking new master degree program in entrepreneurial hospitality that he helped develop at Tulane University, AB Freeman School of Business. And we talk about hospitality entrepreneurship in this conversation, design, the new era of hospitality, the staffing crisis, purpose and culture, staying in business for more than 4 decades, leadership, and how to think big. Before you tune in, please sign up for a weekly newsletter packed with more Maverick insight, strategies, and tools. Find the link in the show notes or visit hospitalitymavericks.com. Now, grab a notebook and tune in. Enjoy. Today, we're gonna be talking about the power of actually, transforming our hospitality business skills and practices to other parts of the world, to other industries, to other domains that normally wouldn't look at hospitality as the main go-to place to learn business skill. And I'm very excited that I connected for some time ago and had a couple of conversations with James, our guest today, about this subject and why he's so passionate about it. And he has an incredible journey you'll find out in a second. But first of all, welcome to the show, James. It's an absolutely pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you, Michael. Pleasure to be here. I'm very excited for our conversation.
I already tried to set the scene a bit, but like you sent me an email with all the jobs you've had in your life since you were in your early teens and companies you've been involved in, your entrepreneurial journey. It's decades and decades and decades. So I will leave it to you. I normally say I wanted the guest to do an elevator pitch, but I think your story is so strong and there's so many milestones. And we talked a bit about a book I recommended to you, The Alchemist. I talk a lot about The Alchemist here on the show, and this is the journey to The Alchemist in the end. There's no doubt about that. So can you just give people a bit of who you are, what you're involved in, your stories, and why we sit here today and have this conversation?
Why not? Thank you. I guess I would have to start off by saying my journey, my story, that list of jobs, which is as long as your forearm, from your elbow to your fingertips, is truly a journey in the world of service and hospitality, and looking to provide a quality experience, provide a quality product, make sure people go away and feel great about an engagement, a reputation with you, the products, the services, how you represent, and come back in business, recommend you, believe in your product, join up with what we believe in. So I've learned it from the ground up, starting as a paper boy, delivering papers early in the morning at 9 years old before school, and then having to go and ask for tips at Christmas time, and the importance of good service and making sure that paper got where it needed to on time. But worked all the way up through the hotel industry and many aspects of the hotel, both from the pool and the kitchen and the maintenance department, and truly understand the working of the hotel industry. And throughout my journey and providing services and counsel and advice and leadership, leaving me starting my first business in 1988, about 34 years ago, along with opening my first restaurant and bar at the same time. And the culmination of what I'd learned working in and around restaurants and around the hotel business, and providing advice and garnering great experience and using something for that. So I started 555 International in 1988, the same year that I opened a restaurant bar in the north side of Chicago, both in Chicago, a place called Union. And that was really the culmination of what I had learned both in that service industry, but I also went to school as a fine artist and a sculptor by birth and passion, but wanted to use my skills in manufacturing and materials and processes to get a degree in industrial engineering and industrial design and build a business that was in and around servicing the hospitality industries, the retail industries, where we would design environments, conceptualize the environments, and then build and manufacture all the cool shit that goes into those environments. So 555 International in Chicago, about 300,000 feet of specialty manufacturing, wood, metal, lighting, signage, all the great stuff that goes into projects, not only our projects, but many other projects. We work for a lot of the top brands, a lot of the top contractors that need that expert skill that brings the entirety of a highly executed project together. At the same time, as I said, getting into owner, operator, designer, builder of our first place led me to consistently be in that career and have consistently been involved with not just design and build through 555, counsel, advise those that want to be in the restaurant and the retail business and how best to go about it, both with experience and without experience. My clientele and leadership and confidence in what we do and experience leaves it that after a period of time, after a few projects with us, we understand all aspects of the business, not just the design, build, the front of house, the back of house as well, the importance of how both are going to work together. So through my experience as an owner operator, designer, builder, really bringing the opportunity to get entire projects done with the confidence that both the owner operator side and then the customer guest experience and front of house side work well together. Consistently to this day, operate a large venue in Chicago, Marvin's Food and Fuel, a restaurant at the corner of Fulton Market and Morgan Street, and then Morgan's on Fulton. Beautiful rooftop special events and catering facilities with multiple levels. So have a place up by Wrigley Field, Deuce's MLB, which is a big bar and restaurant where the Cubs play in that area. And then out in Cody, Wyoming, we have the best steakhouse in Cody, Wyoming, the Cody Steakhouse. So the culmination of all this is where we are today. I'm in my office here at 555 early in the morning, and then I move on in the afternoon to the Fulton Market District and get involved with our operations over there.
It's absolutely fascinating journey, James, and I'm looking forward to dive into. We talk about that because you started all these businesses, and often when people do that, they have a deep purpose. There's like it's not just that I want a lot of restaurants. There's like a purpose you're living out through these different vehicles of businesses, the philosophy. Can you share that with us and what the umbrella has been for building this journey and that your little empire in a way?
Nobody was going to pay me to do brain surgery. I had to figure out things that I was good at. I said it earlier, I think I'm good at reading a customer and providing the right experience and the right value. whether it's my clients or our guests and customers. They have confidence in what we're going to deliver and doing what we say we're going to do at every level of all the businesses that I'm responsible for. And not just my businesses, when I'm put in charge of helping people develop their businesses as well. I take it very seriously. Having the skills and the experience and the wide range of that experience, I'm able to be a really good judge of, let's discuss, what is it? The location? Do you have a cuisine in mind? Are you looking to service a certain customer base? What is there footfall in the neighborhood? Certain things always work into the equation of how to best build those spaces, those environments. So my my abilities and my experience is basically that how to conceptualize and deliver from the beginning to the end, and to make it a complete turnkey experience. And there's wonderful designers in the world, there's great manufacturers in the world, there's wonderful owner operators in the world, strategists, um, and through my experience, I try and deliver the goods, as they say, and the right combination of all to save time, save money, save effort, save energy. Uh, um, I believe in being very proactive, not reactive, and perceiving what issues could come up and planning accordingly, being as diligent as you possibly can be, and making sure you've done your homework, you've done everything you can to check items off your list, and start by making a good list. So I bring all that into practice, and I get asked to do all kinds of things, and really ready and able to be very flexible, and to be able to deliver professional counsel, uh, inspiring thought that isn't just blue sky ideas, things that are thought through, that make sense for what the application and the challenges might be.
And managing, all the aspects of these different, the hospitality businesses and their operation, and then 555 design, strategy, and manufacturing business. How have you done that? What is your learning been there as an entrepreneur? Because it's two different beasts in a way.
It definitely is. Um, I'm a good listener first, right? It's very important, and I preach that. 2 ears, one mouth. Listen at least twice as much as you talk, but listen and organize and lead. Uh, Provide leadership, counsel. Word they use a lot now is mentoring. I like to teach, don't tell. So with my staff and in all these different businesses, and whether it's my manufacturing design business or the hospitality business, I feel it works all the way. Is make sure everybody understands what the job is, provide insight and experience and counsel, make sure I've provided all the tools that we need, that they need to do their job well, provide oversight, and not micromanage, but manage kind of from above, and allow people in some cases to fail. Uh, Making sure that we don't fall too far, but learning from experiences, and having a strong sense of where we should go, but allowing my staff to then grow on their own as well, and provide some guardrails. And in the end, once we've spent the time, once they've gained great experience and they take on more responsibility, I have to manage less and less. And then it just becomes good conversations that we have to have. And that could be with many different departments of what we have in all the different businesses. And then I'm able to kind of manage from above. I think teach, don't tell, and make sure that I've spent the time first to demonstrate, to show, and explain. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm the first one willing to do the work. So everybody sees me do the work first. Then there's no excuses why they should be doing the work. So I provide, that leadership, both, uh, uh, from a physical standpoint and a teaching standpoint as well. I have great expectations, but I believe everybody should. And if they want to work in and around my world, they know they're going to get a lot of experience. And that's my job. They're only going to be better for me, for us, for our business, is if I work hard to allow that and help to make that happen.
That's super interesting what you say that it's also about what I call standards, because actually people like to work in an environment where there is standards, where you are set out to perform at a very high level, but it's the way you manage them to get to that level and how you coach them or you mentor them. Because people don't look for leaders, do they? They look for mentors more than a leader in today's world. What about, you built this business, this incredible growth journey about adding things to all the time. So what is your approach to growth? Because most entrepreneurs, they have some kind of thing. Either I'm building unicorn businesses or I'm building, high growth businesses, or I'm going to build to sell, I'm going to be built to keep, or I'm going to keep it small because that's what I want. What is your approach to growth and why that approach?
I should start off and say that I never intended to own my own business. It was out of happenstance. That might be it. Um, I had left the company that I had been working for after 5 years post college, which was a design and display business. I had both learned a lot in the retail segment and the design and display industry, and a certain amount of manufacturing. It was at the same time that we built that first bar restaurant and opened. I didn't intend to quit my job and go into the bar business. It's just something I wanted to do and accomplish. Um, but I never intended to start 555 or a business like that. I figured I would go out and get another job in the design industry, something that was going to bring in more than the business I was at the time. But a former client called me and said, "Hey, we enjoyed working with you. Would you mind consulting for us and work with us?" And I was like, "Sure." I mean, it wasn't committing to a full time job, but it was a major retail corporation. Um, and the guy said to me, the president of the division said, "I want to send you a retainer check. Who do I make it out to?" And I thought for a second. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I only got a paycheck in the past for all these different jobs I had throughout. Now, I had my own little side jobs and things, but I said, you know what? Let me talk to my buddy who's an attorney, and I'll get back to you. And I called my buddy, and he said, "You need to incorporate. I'll give you the weekend to come up with a name. You need a name for your company, and I'll incorporate it for you, and you'll start a business." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So spent the weekend trying to figure out my name. What was I going to do? How was I going to promote it? I'm going to go into business. Now that was it, right? I was going to get a job, but now I'm going into business. Um, so I spent the weekend. I called him up. I told him what the name was, and we chose to incorporate later that week because it was the end of March, and um, April 1st was that Friday. So my buddy David, lawyer, drove down to Springfield, Illinois, so he could make sure we were incorporated exactly on April 1st. Here, April Fool's Day in the States. I don't know if you have that in the UK, but it was kind of a joke to myself. And I'm like, sure, April 1st, 1988, that's going to be the day I incorporated. And an inside joke to myself, I can't believe I'm starting a business. So, as far as answering your question about growth, it started from there and, wanting to do well, wanting to do more, take on more responsibility. Then I needed an employee. Then I needed another employee. And then I needed a space. And then it got bigger and bigger by taking on more responsibility. And as opportunities would come up or pursue opportunities, and started to realize that, yeah, I can do this. And if I have more people around me, I can do a whole lot more. And the business can grow. And then I can truly deliver a whole lot because what I have to offer seem to be needed. So my ideas of growth are pragmatic and don't grow just because of growth opportunities. Grow with what would be uh, measured steps. Don't bite off more than you can chew, but I often take major steps because of my confidence and knowledge and the ability to grow and succeed. but measured growth, and and be successful, build great reputation. Um, Repeat business is the easiest business to get, right? You can blow it all on reputation, and you'll never get anywhere and wonder why. So it's very important to have repeat customers and people that feel great satisfaction in working with you. And as they grow and they go from one company to another and move up, they're going to call you back because they remember the experience. So that's the idea of growth. The idea of Marvin's Food and Fuel and the growth of the hospitality side, um, and its equation with Morgan's Food and Fuel, our events business in the Fulton Market District, is I bought a building on a corner in what is our meatpacking district, former meatpacking district in Chicago, which is now one of the top culinary and retail districts in the country, the Fulton Market District, some of the best of the best. I've designed and built many of the places for my clients in and around the area, but I bought a building about almost 14 years ago, right on the corner, and have been developing it over the years with the intention. And 7 years ago, opened a beautiful rooftop events facility called Morgan's on Fulton, one of the top beautiful views in the city, of the district. Anybody can come and have a wonderful time there. But it was the intention that I had multiple areas of the building, different tenants, retail tenants, a couple other food and beverage tenants that I was putting in as I renovated the building. Had a restaurant tenant on the corner who I actually let out of his lease a little early, the end of 2019, I guess it was. Was putting together a deal with a large restaurant group to take over this great restaurant space and enhance the catering and events level business. Um, and that deal went to pot, as they say, late February 2020, with the rest of the world. And in March of 2020, all of a sudden, the obvious, and COVID and the shutdown. And at that point, I was then sitting in an empty restaurant as a wonderful venue, Morgan's on Fulton. We were doing great. We were going to have a great year. Started to have to give back all the deposits and try and rebook people down the road. Oh my God, the world is colliding. So it wasn't a happy near-term future for me and for that segment of my empty building. Right, I had other tenants that fortunately were paying, and I had to negotiate deals with them to help them out. But in this case, I had no opportunity to rekindle the kind of deal that I was looking at. So it was more out of desperation that I better do something to continue the project and the opportunity to build something that would allow me to get going, to complete construction on a $1 million retractable glass enclosure I was putting on my roof deck, to finish the project for this beautiful event space that was half completed, finish our catering kitchen that was part of that project that was going on at the same time, but truly try and look and see what can I do to advance and be prepared for when we could get back to business. So Marvin's Food and Fuel, in 4 months' time, design, build, renovate, brand, market, and get open, hire, build a menu. We opened August of 2020 and have done really well, knock wood. Have worked hard, both during the pandemic when indoor dining was not allowed. I built some beautiful heated pergolas outside where we could robustly have food and beverage in the middle of the winter in Chicago in a great serene setting. But have worked hard to then enhance the Morgan's on Fulton business. We've built our huge culinary team. We have a very wide-ranging culinary program, from very approachable, affordable, kind of home style, where Marvin's is, to the highest level catered events upstairs at Morgan. So happily have worked hard, consistently working hard to build that team. Pandemic, masking, all that is on the way out as far as the restrictions. So we're looking forward to a very robust summer into the fall, into next year. And truly, out of that, I feel very fortunate that we've been able to build the business we have. And it wasn't anything I intended. I didn't intend to be the operator. I wanted to be the landlord. But now being the operator and growing that business and, using everything I've been doing for all these years, but in something that truly is engaging and inspiring and very neighborhood like. We are at the end of the culinary spectrum where it's the industry place. It's where all the chefs and all the kitchen workers in the front of house come late night after they're done, from all the best of the best and neighborhood and first timers and uh, approachable, affordable, great culinary execution, very healthy, tasty ideas and options. And, we always have a seat open for you at the bar. So I feel very fortunate that that's what's come out of the pandemic for me, for us, for the building. But it's hard work and it will continue to be so.
And it's very interesting. You talk about, sometimes during that career, the things that happens. The universe gives you a challenge, and in principle, what I hear is like that has been your growth opportunities. Now, I just need to
Yeah.
work that out. I think that's a beautiful way.
In neither case did I plan to do either one of those
Yeah,
things.
it's really really interesting when I was sitting and listening to it. What about you say like you're coming out of pandemic, like the staffing crisis, have you seen that it's a huge challenge as well, and when you ended up becoming accidental operator, have you really struggled with that as well, and all the other ventures you're part of?
Yes, without a doubt. And it's across the board. I've seen it. Being in business for 34 years now at 555 and um, being in the hospitality side, food and beverage. When we opened in the middle of the pandemic, we could get anybody because everybody was out of a job, right? So there weren't many businesses that were open. It took a very long time. In the States, we had PPP money. There was protection money that the government distributed to businesses that had been open. And it wasn't until a lot of businesses actually got that money did they choose to open. We opened, so I had the opportunity to build a staff. But once everybody started open and it opened up more, that's when the staffing issue became very apparent. Many people left this industry. Many people started in transportation and with Amazon and FedEx and companies that were thriving because of the at-home delivery business all of a sudden, but truly left the industry. Maybe it was the right time for the right reasons. Um, so yes, it's been a struggle. It's been a big struggle. It's limited our ability to open on certain nights because I don't want to stress our staff. I want to always deliver the highest end experience, and I want the staff to feel comfortable in making decent money and not over pressuring just because I need to be open for later and more nights. So we've been on a schedule that has us closed on Mondays and Tuesdays at Marvin's since we opened and we do sit open for brunch Saturday, Sunday mornings. We're limited on Sunday nights now. We're hoping to continue into later on Sunday nights, but we are late night for the rest of the week. But I'm not going to all of a sudden try to open for those additional nights and risk the quality of the experience and the stress on the staff. I want to make sure that everybody's comfortable. We do see it coming back a little bit as Chicago and Illinois certainly has opened up a lot, but it's still an issue. On the 555 and the design side, big issues as well, where a lot of businesses stopped. If you were in an ancillary or related industry, like we design in hospitality and hotel and retail, those businesses all stopped very quickly as well. A lot of people were furloughed or left those industries as well. Um, so as businesses started to ramp up last year, design firms, manufacturing firms, the hotel industry, everybody's now searching once again for staffing. So across the board, the demand has been high for qualified staff, and the demand has been high for any staff. Just hopefully you can find some qualified staff. So it's been a challenge as well. At 555, we do get people who search us out because we're unique in the design and manufacturing world. So we do have plenty of designers that want to learn more aspects of not just the design or the environmental aspect, but how does it all actually work and go together. So that helps. We're always able to train staff and give great opportunity there as well. But across the board, everywhere I go, everywhere I travel, staffing is an issue.
And I think, yeah, it's interesting. You have failed in so two different businesses as well. It's not just hospitality; it's also in your design business. You also on an incredible journey around a master degree program on entrepreneurial hospitality. And I said a bit here in the intro. We will talk about how can you actually learn from hospitality business skills and practices, or how can other businesses learn outside of that. Tell us a bit about that program and how it actually come about, because design, hospitality business, and now developing a master degree program together with a university.
Yeah. I think it's the story of my life, actually. I think uh, entrepreneurial hospitality, the combination is just where I ended up throughout my experiences. I was contacted about almost 6 years ago by the dean at the A.B. Freeman Business School at Tulane University in New Orleans. And the dean, the associate dean, came to Chicago. They were given my name by somebody that they knew, a consultant in the hospitality business, I think alumni from Tulane as well, Freeman Business School, as somebody they should talk to. And we met at my building. We talked about my experience, and then they explained to me that the business school had done some research for prior number of years, on defining what kind of programs they should add to their fabulous business school. And they ended up on hospitality and entrepreneurship with their business school. And the idea that there needs to be better combination of those, that if they can take some of the ideas of hospitality and infuse different aspects of business, and not the traditional hospitality industry, hotels, restaurants, bars, what have you, travel. Um, is there a confluence of hospitality and entrepreneurship, and how could businesses outside of the traditional hospitality industry learn from guest experience and what we truly live and work towards and provide in the hospitality industry? So that was the discussion, that they were looking to build a master's candidate program within the business school that was utilizing the skills and techniques and ideas and passions that come from hospitality, and how we can influence that in all these other businesses, whether it's healthcare, accounting, legal practices, pretty much any place that you're providing goods and services, and your expectation is to be remunerated for those goods or services, and to build, let's say, loyalty and repeat customers, and what can you do to utilize these skills for that. So we talked about it. I jumped in right away because all of a sudden light went off in my head. Like, I never put those two words together. I never really thought of myself as an entrepreneur. I've always been in the service industry, which is broader than even just hospitality, retail as well. Um, and it light bulb went off. It dawned on me that truly is what I've become, what my story of my life has been about. So we've been working for since that time, first on creating the program, both the documents, the marketing materials, the course ideas, what was going to be the takeaways for the students. First, a document to then present to the stakeholders, the university, the alumni, and then those that we were going to look for funding and support, and then turn that document into something that we would sell to the potential students. So the idea of getting students to then buy into something they've never really heard of, especially this is not a culinary school. They do not have a culinary program. They don't have a hotel management program like at some of the major institutions in the United States. This is not about culinary and hospitality management. So we worked on my company 555 with my leadership and a few of the other stakeholders. AJ Brooks, who's my counterpart there, professor in real estate at Tulane University currently. We worked on putting this program together. And over the years, and really started prior to the pandemic, having engagements in classroom, in building businesses utilizing hospitality as the base for those students. So it's an intensive program that they go through, where we go from the entirety of conceptualizing what business, what goods, what services, and then going throughout created branding, sales, marketing, P&Ls, you name it. So the students truly go through the beginning to end of building businesses. And these are business masters. So the businesses, and they are lawyers, and in some cases, they're from finance, and some cases they truly are inspired by hospitality, especially after we go through these programs. So that truly is what the program is about. During the pandemic and all the students having to work from home and work remote, we've been doing that the last couple of years, but are looking forward to getting back into the physical presence with the students, but truly utilizing what we know about guest experience and hospitality, and trying to make sure that all those things can be utilized to, as I said earlier, build repeat business, build a great quality feeling when somebody walks away and wants to recommend you. Like I said earlier, again, the easiest sale is that second sale after somebody's been intrigued, excited, enthused. They will come back, and they will be a consistent guest.
Yeah, and I guess it was really interesting. Some of the most successful hospitality businesses, that's what they're good at, is that trial, repeat. And the repeat keep on coming because there's so much trust in that experience and deliver every time that they want to come back. And it just becomes sticky and sticky. And I know some of my friends that runs our restaurants, especially one of them, he's been running this restaurant almost now for 25 years, and not much have changed. Of course, they've updated some things, the menu changes, but it's like the experience is still the sticky thing, and that's what makes it has a huge loyal following, and a membership club.
Yeah, genuine, authentic, right? You definitely, you just said it. I want to be a member of that club, right? I think a lot of it is also, I guess I'd have to, I'm not going to credit Gary Friedman, but I will, in the way of chairman of Restoration Hardware, RH, major chain of home furniture and decorative stores in the United States. Um, he changed Restoration Hardware into RH. He built this first RH gallery here in Chicago in a beautiful old Beaux-Arts building, and he put a little cafe in the middle of this huge, beautiful retail store, furniture retail store, with the intention to want to build a place where people want to come and hang out in a beautiful environment, because every one of the vignettes of the furniture and the environment is full on RH, and it's so beautiful, and you could outfit every aspect of your home there. And he has all these beautiful vignettes, so he put this beautiful restaurant experience in the middle of it, and it clicked. And at 10 in the morning, people are waiting online outside, not to shop for furniture, to hang out at RH. And created a hospitality program in and around his retail program. And he wrote an article that I read, and I was really, informed by it and enthused by it. I felt it was important because he talked about the shift he saw in his business, and the shift he felt was coming. And I've counseled and worked with many corporations now on the same thing, but changing from the retail side of what is a promotional business, right, where you're trying to sell and promote and sell and promote, to a membership experience, right? And we've seen the proliferation of private membership clubs, Soho House, and a number of wonderful places where you'll pay up to be in an environment that is more contoured to your world. So I love the idea of changing from a promotional based business where there's competition for price and this and this and this and this and this, to no, I want to be a member of that club. Everything they do is great. they speak to me, I speak to them, I feel comfortable. So I truly looked at that as, yep, we want everybody to be members of our world, right? And I want businesses that um, exude that, right? That are thoughtful, that are authentic. And it's not easy to do that. We get asked as designers, oh, make this place look cool and local. I want it to be a local place. It's very hard, right? It's very hard, but there's ways to do that. So, you know, getting getting that membership stake, that builds loyalty for life. So I truly think that's very, very powerful.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of industries that can learn from that. That's very focusing on the promotional or the commodity, the race to the bottom, who can sell the cheapest, and often a race that most people will lose because there's always somebody that's willing to discount you and your price. Uh, that program, the Entrepreneurial Hospitality Master Program, it comes also, I know from our other conversations, driven by your passion about mentorship and want to give people skills that elevate them. Can you talk a bit more about that and where that comes from?
I guess I've always felt that um, in order to be in the position I'm in, well, I started teaching soccer when I was playing soccer, and the older kids had to teach the younger kids. Uh, when I was a little kid, the excitement that would come from seeing somebody learn something new. I taught swimming, beginner swimming, when I was working at the hotel. I was a pool boy. I got my life saving certificate. I also then started teaching beginner swimming at the local YMCA. And I was very young, but I had an ability to explain, to instruct, to relate. Um, so it's been in everything I've ever done, every job, every business I've ever owned. I always felt it was very important to explain, to provide opportunity. And God knows I've employed thousands and thousands, and they don't all still work for me, and they move on to greatness. And I feel great about that. I feel great that after people have spent time with me and my businesses and interacting, eventually they're going to go on. Yeah, a lot stay, but they have skills and experiences and tools that go well beyond any normal job. And I feel great about that. And I feel great when I see those that work for me go on to great success as well. That if I had anything to do with, if there were any takeaways for them, I know that there were. I know that when you work in my world, I take great pride in wanting to see growth and people out and say, you're doing great. Have you ever thought about a career in X and what that might be? So I guess I've been a teacher my entire life, and I enjoy it. I teach professionals. I tell people often, you know, I train professionals because I get them out of college, right out of college, right, or just before they get out of college. And college doesn't really teach you how to go out in the world of work. It might teach you one skill or another. Certainly in the arts world, it doesn't teach you anything about an opportunity in the world. So I take great pride in it, and the importance of teachers that truly look deep into and want to provide um, great ideas and excitement about what is an opportunity and what they can do with it. So yeah, that passion for that will consistently be with me. I I enjoy that.
Do you believe we need more mentorship in the world we are in right now? It's a very, you know, challenging world.
And there's less and less available. I think the technology and certainly the Zoom world is kind of crushing a lot of interpersonal engagement that is so important to have. Learning by the hip of somebody who's ahead of you. It's hard on a Zoom call. It's easier when you're physically in environments with. We have that here in my businesses, which is great. But so many businesses are so detached from the physicality now, right? And I truly do feel that Uh, Kids have to search it out now. It's not so readily available, right? And yeah, if you can get into college, that's one thing, but experience is another, right? You can't get experience until you get an internship. You hope something could come from your internship that is of great value that you can use to promote and market yourself to the next level. Um, and everything I can do to as many as I can affect, I'm happy to do it because I know that there is a great dearth of opportunities like these, but it is very important. Without it, people could spend many, many, many years in frustration and trying to succeed and never really finding great success. So I think it is very important because I don't want to say it makes a shorter road. You still have to put the time, the effort, and the energy in, no matter what. There's no easy way. It is work, um, but the successes uh, really, I think, come with ideas and experience that are learned. And until you can get out there and learn it all, it's going to be hard. So finding a great mentor, finding opportunities where you can dial into some of that experience, very important.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think yeah, it's really interesting to say with the whole the Zoom, the online thing. Maybe we've forgotten that actually you can have a conversation on Zoom, but you can never translate wisdom in that kind of way where you sit in the same room with body language. You can really read how the person feel. Are they actually ready to get this information now, or do I need to take the conversation somewhere else? And it's really interesting. I never thought about that myself, but I can really see that as a challenge because a lot of people talk about online mentoring, and I always find when I meet my mentor, which is almost 75 now, I go to meet him because I also want his energy. Because from a 75 years old, he is very energetic and still hungry for opportunity, and I think that's so inspiring. I want to end there. That's what how I would feel when I'm 75 with the same wisdom as he has, or more even. What about hospitality? It's a new era people talk about, and now you're deeply ingrained in it from many angles. And launching a business in the pandemic, it's a very different game now, or it's probably still the foundation of the game is the same, but it's like we play on other parameters than before. What is your view on the future for hospitality?
I'm bullish on the future. I'm invested deeply in it, going strong into the future. I think flexibility is always very important. I've always been very flexible in all my ideas about business and being able to roll with the punches of what the industry, what the world delivers, and taking advantage of opportunities and learning from mistakes. Um, I'm very excited about the opportunities I have on the corner of Fulton and Morgan. With this robust neighborhood building up around us. That's why I invested there a long, long time ago. It's a bummer that it hasn't come to fruition and the fruits of my labor over the last 5 years because it should have, but I'm still very excited and working hard into the future there, um, and other projects. So, I'm post-pandemic now. Lots of hospitality entrepreneurs out investing in real estate, investing in opportunities and businesses, getting back to business. It's an awful thing that so many businesses didn't survive the pandemic, but it does provide opportunities for others. Um, I think people are going to have to be smarter about it. Being in business now, uh, the old tricks don't always necessarily work. I think that's good as well, and providing the opportunity to try new things and the excitement, the experimentation. Um, I think so many wonderful established businesses really had to turn on a dime and come up with great dynamic things to do during the pandemic, which were so far out of their wheelhouse that they would have never been pushed to do things that they would have never done in their entire life, which really turned into great business opportunities outside of what would have been their core business. So I see a lot of that, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and I guess one person I talked with here in the podcast also said like this has been if we can keep that kind of innovation level, what can it not become? Because if you can innovate in that speed under pressure, if we just took some of that speed and actually innovated before we had to, then we would actually be a very progressive industry. And sometimes we looked at a bit slow from other sectors from an innovation point of view. And I agree, the pandemic had really shown that this sector is really adaptable and flexible, and we just have to keep on doing that. What has I know you're a strong reader as well, James, and you love books. So if you had to give, like, I'll keep you at one book, like one book that the audience need to read, and why do they need to read it? It's probably a book that really transformed something in your life.
Good question. Um, the World Atlas. I would say the World Atlas. Um, I'm big into maps. I think people don't really know anything about the world, a lot of people. I think it's important to go around the world, whether you can in the metaverse with VR or travel or go to a library, get an atlas. I think people have to look outside of their general surroundings and look for experiences, get excited and enthused about things like that. So I read a lot of different books for a lot of different reasons, but I think the atlas and what that means, and globalization, and truly understanding impact and regions, and where cultures come from, and how they've intersected or overlapped, and learning about um, all of that is very important. And I think not enough people have the opportunity to truly think outside of the general world that they live in, and they should. That's my answer.
That's a super interesting answer, because I know the book you're talking about. I haven't looked at it for years, but it's again about understanding that there's more to the world than your experiences every day. And this is the biggest thing about that, you need to see the world from all the angles possible to understand what the world actually is, or get your understanding, because it changes all the time. I love that. That was a very good answer, actually.
And maybe a couple travel guides as well.
Yeah. What about you? You've been in business 35 years. How do you keep on, showing up pro, as Michael Jordan called it? We have to show up pro every day, and no matter what day it is, we need to play a good game.
I don't know if you can see this, but you see that diamond hoop right there on my ear? Right
Yeah.
there. Do you see that? Well, that's me vibing with MJ here in Chicago.
Ah.
Yeah, during the pandemic, I needed a charge. I was pretty beat down with everything going on, and I've always worn a little wire hoop earring. And one morning, early morning, sleepless, the earring goes flying out as I'm brushing my hair, and I'm like, oh my god. So what am I going to do? I can't leave the house. I've had an earring for 45 years. And I remember these diamond hoops I bought for my wife and long time ago. And I came home and presented her with these, and she goes, "Oh." I said, "Oh, you're not very enthused about them." She said, "Well, I don't look good in hoops." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I put them away. And there I was one morning, stressed out, pressure, pandemic. I said, "You know what? I need a new attitude today." So I went and I said, MJ, right? The GOAT. Well, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay is the true greatest of all time, but MJ in the basketball world. And I said, I'm going to start sporting that MJ vibe right now. So I put that earring in and I went to work. But big picture, every day is a new day. I can't do much about yesterday. I have today and tomorrow. I for some reason, have a smile on my face, even on stressful days, with the ability to go back at it and have opportunities. Um, I have to be a leader. I have to be positive. I believe in positive mental attitude, PMA all the way. Um, be a great organizer, uh, cool head, prevail, and that's my job. So I can't be down. I mean, I have my times, but my job is to not just show a great face, but to lead with a great face. And and to promote and to build and to get through every day. There's a tomorrow I can do something about. So that's what my intention is.
So a lot of people I've talked with here on the show, when I ask this question, well, they, often sometimes they talk about different things, but they have kind of a structure they follow. And it sounds like you had your morning thing where you get ready and then suddenly it gets, disrupted. And therefore you need to go and fix it because it's like almost a ritual that can't broke. Do you have rituals? Do you start and end your day with to make sure that that it feels like we started well and closed off well?
Somewhat. I'm habitual, a beast of habit. I think that's important. Not bad habits that are detrimental, but certain processes you go through. Um, I always put my keys in the right place because I never want to lose my keys. Right? I always certain things that give me the confidence that those things are taken care of, so I can focus on all the crazy shit that's going to go on, and so I do. I get up early, very early. I don't set alarm ever. I travel a lot, so I'm up out early to airplanes. I'm up early to then pop through, a few different destinations throughout the day. Um, Truly, I have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee on the weekends. Read the sports page a little bit. It kind of just gets my head out of world politics and crap like that. Want to see what's going on in some sports I follow. I look at my calendar, think about what's going on throughout today, next couple of days as well. Just quickly reprioritize, what I had going on because, for sure, shit from yesterday impacted things for today and going forward. Prioritize myself a little bit, and then I take off and I get in the car and I'm usually 20 minutes. And during that time, I'm thinking about strategy. I'm thinking about design idea. I get to 555 early in the morning. We have meetings, discussions, and the manufacturing design side. I'm in 20 minutes in my car to the Fulton Market District. So at that point, I'm using that time to kind of think about strategy ideas and meetings I'm going to have there. And then 20 minutes home later, whenever that is, I'm thinking about some of the personal things that are going on as well. Um, I try not to be on the phone all the time in a car. I know a lot of people are always on the phone trying to get caught up. That's my time to organize and to give myself an opportunity to not decompress as much as kind of reorganize or prioritize certain things or get some strategy and some challenging things done. So it's those three trips in the car. It's that early morning. Spent a lot of time, as I said, traveling. So in hotel rooms, on planes, I'm able to find my time that I can, truly uh, get to the things I need to do that prepares me and allows me to really show up for all the other businesses that I'm involved with. So being a beast of that habit and utilizing it for that truly helps me organize and stay positive and proactive.
Super interesting. Everybody has their own ways to create these, these free spaces and how they structure the days up in different ways. And I think it's fascinating. You need, what I normally say, and what's the learning is here when I told people, is that you need to find your own unique way, like many other things in life. You need, but you can get inspired for some of the most experienced people in the world, but you need to find your approach, and it will probably change as the environment you're in and the time, what kind of habits you have or rituals you have.
I had a guy ask me, I was just going to say, a guy asked me a few weeks ago, do you meditate? And I thought for a second. I said, well, I I don't have a meditative practice, but I meditate my own way. I find my place, right? I definitely, in that case, whether it's in the car in between, and that's thinking, but problem solving, solutions, or I'll get into my shop and studio and I'll work on things that I can get rid of all the clutter. So I find my places to meditate and find my being, but I don't meditate as a practice.
That was interesting when you say that because many leaders don't hold the space where they say, "This is my time. I don't pick up the phone. I don't answer email. I don't have meeting at that point." Like you have to create these moments in some kind of way because else, how the hell are you going to organize all the what's coming at you? And because you need to be present when you arrive, because else you can't listen, as you talked about in the beginning, because you've used all your broadband, and listening is some of the hardest thing to really do, because you need not just to listen, look like you're listening, you also need to capture what they're saying and not saying, in principle. So yeah, I love that. I love that, James. So moving on to the last couple of questions, like if you were giving, the stage to give like your top three advice to leaders out there, what they should be, doing right now to accelerate their businesses, what would that be?
I said it earlier, time, effort, and energy. I think you have to put it in. You have to be smart. You have to have skills. I mean, all these things, but the time, effort, and energy. I think a lot of people don't truly understand what it means to lead a business, to start businesses, to put everybody else ahead of yourself. Literally, if the employees don't get paid, I don't get paid. Right? It's one of those things when you're starting your own business. If the suppliers don't get paid, you don't get paid. So putting the time and the effort and energy is most important, and a lot of people don't necessarily understand that. Accelerating your business, sure, you have to be smart about how can I accelerate my business. What does that mean in many different industries? Is it more guest counts in an evening? It's broadening a menu. It's starting on an offshoot business. That's just a part of each different type of business sectors opportunities that are there. Do your research. I like to say do your push-ups. Be ready for what you're about to uh, take on. Be in shape for it. It's crushing. It truly is. It's carrying a lot of burdens, um, carrying a lot of responsibility, other people's projects, other people's money. If we weren't good at what we did, if I was a de facto leader, if some Joe Blow first time designer got away with something that didn't get picked up and it ended up being a real killer for a client's project when it was too late after they opened, there goes your reputation. There goes my reputation. So you got to put the effort and energy in and the time it takes to, truly go where you think the business could go and take it there.
Great advice, James. Is there one question you wished I've asked you, and I didn't do, and what would you have answered?
Not to put you in a can with everybody else, but usually everybody ends up with, what's your favorite project? And I only have one answer, and it's the last one done. That's the same answer I've always had. It's the last one done. Um, Projects for me, they take a long time from beginning to end. I have a unique gift that I see in 3D and Technicolor, and I know what they all look like. As I'm just thinking in my mind. I don't render on a computer. We have staff that helps. I draw with pens and pencils, and I make sketches. But I have the unique ability to know what it all looks like way before it's done. So the projects become effort and energy and time and issues and challenges. So getting to it being done, oh, and getting paid, that's it. So last one done, and we got paid.
Yeah, love that, because it's very in the now as well. Well, you can only celebrate what's in the now often. Rest is hopes and dreams. Yeah.
You got it. By the time it opens, it's celebration for the client. We got 15 other projects we're working on at that time, and I'm just happy the guest is, I like to stand in the background. I like to see how people engage. I like to see the smiles on the faces. I like the client to walk over and say thank you so much, and then I move on.
Yeah, great. Where can people find out more about you, 555, the restaurant, the hospitality side, the entrepreneurial program? There's so much.
Well, 555.com, that's three numbers. Great 34 years of great photos and images and products and environments we've worked on. marvinsfoodandfuel.com and morgansonfulton.com for the restaurant and the events and catering business. Um, if you're ever in Cody, Wyoming, the east entrance of Yellowstone Park, come in and visit us at the Cody Steakhouse. And Tulane at the Freeman Business School. So AJ Brooks, as I said, is my counterpart down there, professor extraordinaire. And the program will be growing as we're coming out of the pandemic and working hard to truly engage and give opportunity and agency to a lot of people that are going to go on and kill it.
Great. Thank you so much, James, for joining us today and sharing your journey, your wisdom, your thoughts about the future of hospitality, and also how we actually become better leaders.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. A great time. Call me anytime.
James, thank you so much. Really loved your philosophy around hospitality entrepreneurship and how that can be transferred to other industries, and the power of thinking big. You should now reflect and start asking yourself, are we thinking big enough in the new era of hospitality in our business? And to get further inspiration on how to think big, tune in to episode 127 with Barry O'Reilly, co-founder of Nobody Studios, on how to unlearn. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please share, rate, review, or subscribe to one of our channels, which all can be done via our website, hospitalitymavericks.com. A big thank you to BizSimply for supporting us, bringing great insights, strategies, and tools to help the industry thrive, not just survive. Check them out at bizsimply.com or via their social at BizSimply or at BizSimplyHQ. You can also email them directly at advice@bizsimply.com. A big thank you to Fina Charlton, who is the show producer and editor from the Podcast Collective. And tune in next time for another interview. And in the meantime, find out more about us and subscribe to the newsletter and more Maverick insights at hospitalitymavericks.com. And don't worry, if you didn't get all of this, there will be links in the show notes. I'm Michael Tingser, and you've been listening to the Hospitality Maverick podcast show. Be Maverick.